Binote ka ba na gusto mo ng patayuan ng bahay? Somebody once asked me,
Architect, gusto kong isagad sa buong lupa ko ang bahay ko. Pwede ba yun?
ayon sa National Building Code, which is the law that we follow in designing houses and other structures, ito ay technically hindi pwede.
It's the law.
Hi, I'm Karlo, and I'm an architect. Ever wondered why houses cannot be maximized along the edges of its property line? The National Building Code provided some rules and regulations in properly utilizing your lot or your property. So in this video, I will be talking about the rules regarding setbacks. If you're planning to having your house designed, watch this video. Setbacks are required for natural lighting and ventilation. Yan ang primary purpose kung bakit kailangan ng setbacks sa property. These two elements are important for the health and wellness of the user or the residents of the house. Setback requirements are grouped into residential and commercial. So magkaiba ang rules para sa residential establishments at sa commercial establishments. But for this video, I would mainly focus on the residential setbacks. Residential establishments have classifications. But for this discussion, we'll focus more on the basic housing unit for a single family, the R1 classification, which is I think the most commonly used type of housing model in the Philippines. Sa Metro Manila kasi or sa ibang major cities, nagsastart ng umusbong ang mga condominium towers. Ibang classification naman yon. Doon muna tayo sa mga landed properties or sa mga house and lot properties. What are setbacks and how is it measured? A setback is a distance by which a building or part of a building is set back from the property line. Let me show you an example. This is your lot. It is commonly defined with a mohon embedded on the corners of the lot itself. The front side of your lot is defined as the side adjacent to the street or the road. And this is your house. Setbacks are measured from the edge of the property line up to the surface of the exterior wall of the house. So kung ito ang linya ng inyong property line, tayo ay magsisetback ng ilang metro para ma-define natin ito. As indicated in the National Building Code, the minimum setbacks are as follows. From the front, you need to establish a 4.5 meter setback from that front edge of your property line up to the edge of the exterior wall. This space will be assigned as an open space, or as termed in the National Building Code, we shall call it the yard. For the rear or backyard, the setback required is 2 meters. And for the sides of your lot, it's 2 meters on the left and 2 meters on the right. This is the required setback around your property. For some R1 classifications or the basic single-family dwelling, they allow a 3-meter setback instead of the 4.5 setback at the front, which is normally assigned to R2 and R3 classification of houses. This will depend on the local government's implementing rules on setbacks. Maaari nyo itong i-check sa inyong City Hall. What if your lot is too narrow or masyadong manipis ang lapad ng inyong lote? Kailangan pa ba itong lagyan ng side setbacks? Kung masyado namang manipis ang lote mo para lagyan ng side setbacks, in the National Building Code, the side setbacks are allowed to be used provided that it will become a firewall. Ano naman ang firewall? Firewalls are basically solid walls, and there are no holes, no windows, no openings allowed on that wall. Ito yung napakalaking pader na madalas nyong makita sa pagitan ng bahay mo at ng kapitbahay mo. Hindi ito balakid sa samahan nyo ng kapitbahay mo. Ito ay isang mahalagang proteksyon hindi sa utang kung hindi sa sunog pag nagkataon. Firewall should be made of at least a 2-hour fire-resistive material. Kaya nga siya tinawag na firewall para proteksyon sa sunog o maiwasan ang pagtawid ng sunog sa kabilang property. Ibang wall naman ang kailangan mo para hindi makatawid ang kapitbahay mo sa property mo. Firewalls must be extended beyond the edges of the roof and the edge of the walls. From the edge of your roof, it should be extended by 40 centimeters up to 1 meter according to the fire code. In some cases, firewalls can be provided at the rear setback as well. Only if you'd be able to provide an air well or a way for the air to pass through the back of your house. Keep in mind na ang setback ay para magkaroon ng proper air ventilation sa loob ng iyong bahay. It is discouraged that you cover the entire backyard with a firewall because this will eliminate the natural air ventilation. I would like to emphasize the importance of natural ventilation sa loob ng bahay to help properly circulate the air inside the house. Imagine kung walang pasukan at labasan ng hangin sa loob ng bahay. Una, wala kang oxygen. Pangalawa, kapag may gumawa ng number 2 sa loob ng banyo at walang labasan ng hangin. Going back, the rear firewall is allowed for up to 50% of the total width of your property, with a minimum gap of 1 meter. But I would still suggest 2 meters. Remember, banyo. There are instances where the law gives consideration and exemptions when it comes to setbacks, especially if your lot is really small. A good tip when buying a lot is to make sure that your lot is not too small, considering all the setbacks. For me, a good minimum size of a lot is at around 4 meters wide or 13 to 15 meters long. That's for me, pero I have designed houses which have smaller lot areas or lot sizes than this. It may be challenging, yes, but it's not an impossible case. The law on setbacks is really for the human dweller's convenience and for proper lighting and ventilation to be available inside the property. Para talaga ito sa mga titira sa loob ng bahay. In cases where the lot is really small, the architect can provide a preliminary drawing to be checked by the building official for proper assessment if it will be approved for building permits. This is why architects are important. Because an architect is knowledgeable with the building code and the laws provided by the government when it comes to designing and building a house. Kaya hindi yan basta-basta dinodrawing ng kung sino-sino lang. The architect can do a preliminary drawing and have it checked by the building official to make sure that it is acceptable. The building officials may provide an exemption to the rules on setbacks as long as the house can satisfy provisions on natural lighting and ventilation to make the house habitable. Ibig sabihin, pwede namang mag-apply ng exemption to the rule. Basta kailangan lang na magkaroon ka ng natural lighting and ventilation sa iyong bahay para matirahan mo ito ng maayos. Kitams, dun pa din tayo babalik sa natural lighting and ventilation. In short, kung may problema sa lote at imposible ang setback requirements, pwede naman itong ipacheck muna ni architect sa mga building officials. At dun niya kailangang i-defend kung bakit kailangan i-waive ang setback rules. As long as your architect can prove why your property needs to be exempted to the rule, this should solve the problem. The National Building Code is not a hindrance in design. It is mainly a guide that we architects follow in designing your houses. It is there not to make your lives miserable, but rather to make it comfortable. Yan ang purpose ng National Building Code. Yes, it can be a very tedious and complicated technical process, so make sure to get an architect. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have more queries or comments, you may write it down at the comment section below. If this video was helpful to you, you may also subscribe to this channel and check out my other videos regarding architectural topics, tips, advice, lessons, and know-how. You may also hit that notification bell icon to keep you updated on my future videos kasi sa channel na ito, may future. Shoutout to Mr. Emmanuel, an architecture student from Sorsogon. I want to send out my greetings to Celine Garci, Evelyn RC, wow, that rhymes, Jane Rolleda, Lou Ball, and Basic Ali. Thank you for supporting this channel. Some of them have channels as well. You may check them out. To my fellow architects who have their own YouTube channels, Architect Jerwin, Architect Raincy, and DC Architects. Sawa ka na ba sa traffic at gusto mo na lang bang pumadyak gamit ang isang bisikleta? For those avid bikers or cyclists out there, please check out this channel. Ako si Domsky for trail tips, bike rides, product reviews, and many more. I will put the link on the descriptions below. Again, to all of you and to all those I haven't mentioned, I am trying to keep up with their queries and comments. Medyo busy lang talaga lately during this season, but I want to thank you still for supporting this channel. Watch out for more future tips and possibly design videos coming soon. Sa Metro Manila kasi or sa ibang major cities, so magkaiba ang rules para sa residential. But on this video, I would firewall. Ibang wall naman ang kailangan mo para hindi makatapik. There are instances where the law gives consideration and If this video was helpful to you, you may also subscribe to this channel and check out my other videos regarding architectural topics, tips, advice, lessons, and know-how. Di kaya ng isang hinga yan.